finished product. You can see. That's another thing about this recipe. It is pretty easy to make, but it is time consuming, and that total cook time is about 3 hours. 2.5 hours is oven time. So that's just, you have to put it in the oven and then you can do whatever you want for that time. So hands-on work is only about 30 minutes. And the ingredients that you're gonna need are to now go back to my night session because I filmed that last night at 11 p.m. Thank you for following along and good luck on finals.
We are going to take our eggs and, well, not prepared. Sort of put your finger in between it and only just gently open it and make sure that it's sort of all on one edge. And then, oops, this kind of gets messy. You sort of transfer it between shells like this so that it removes it faster. Put that there. This is basically how it looks like. Ooh, this might be hard to show. You know, egg whites. 4 egg whites in here, and then 1.5 cornstarch. Okay, sort of a pinch of salt. 2 pinches.
Just want to recap just in case it was lost. We began whipping this bowl of the 4 egg whites, 1 teaspoon of cornstarch, and 2 pinches of salt. And after that, we just keep on mixing, and then we're mixing in 1.5 cups of sugar, only adding sort of bunches of it at a time until there's no more left. This will help with the consistency at the end.
You dip your hand in, and then, or like dip it, and do you see like when you test it for it to stand, it's not standing. It's very flat, so it's not ready.
And again, more mixing. This part requires a lot of patience.
Okay, 4th test. There it is. Sort of, you know, do you see? Sort of, it's not, it doesn't do that bend thing that it did at the beginning. And I think that's good enough in terms of if you're slightly impatient, but you're like, I waited all of this time already, this is what we want. It's standing on its own. Done. They say to draw a circle on the parchment paper so that you know more or less the shape that you want to put this mixture onto the parchment paper. And you know what? Teach their own, I say, because I think that could be a good step. But here's what you're going to want to do.
So the key here is to take a clump of the Pavlova and sort of just blob it onto the parchment paper, and you're taking your spoon or whatever you have and lightly creating a sort of arch, smoothing it out to make a larger circle, if that makes sense. And again, you really want to do this lightly so that it's not hard to remove it from the parchment paper later. So you're creating a thick sort of layer, and again, feathering out away from the center to create these 2 layers containing equal amounts of the mixture.
So I'm popping these in the oven right now, which we had preset to 350. We're going to want it in the bottom of the oven. So empty out your oven, and we want it on the bottom rack of it so that there's air from the top. So plopping it in the bottom layer, closing the oven, and then closing the oven, and then we are lowering it down the heat to 200. So it's going to lower now because it began at 350 and now we're bringing it down to 250. I now prepare the center part of it, which is the fluffy inner. For this one, this is where the heavy whipping cream comes in, the sugar, and the sliced fruit. Very easy, just those three ingredients. Let's get of this. What we're going to be doing is basically just chopping off the head or the leaves of the strawberries. So just do that for all of them.
For the ones that we're going to be putting on top of the cake, we're just choosing the best looking out of the strawberries and cutting them in half and then putting them to the side, which you'll see is at the top right corner of my cutting board. And again, just making small pieces into the strawberries and then putting them back into the bowl, which we're going to add later into our whipping cream and sugar mixture.
Okay. One and a half. Oops. Well, yeah. Sugar. 1/4 cup.
So again, that's 1.5 cups of the heavy whipping cream and 1/4 cup of sugar. I add a little bit of heavy whipping cream after and during the time that I add the strawberries. So when we're adding the strawberries, it's okay that we are essentially squishing them up into this fluff. It's fine, it'll taste even better, and that's sort of what it becomes in the end, a strawberry fluff mix.
This is what's going to go inside the 2 Pavlova layers. So what you're going to do while that is still in the oven is you're going to put like a saran wrap on this and then put it in the refrigerator. At this point, what we do is so you're going to take a ladle or something like this, and you're going to open up, first of all, turn off the oven, prop it open like this. So we're allowing air to go into the oven. And then we're going to set it for another hour. Sorry. The next time we see each other will be in the morning when I have already taken the cake out of this oven for 1 hour that it has been left in there to cool. Put it in the refrigerator, and then in the morning we will have it all together, put the strawberries on top of it, and then it'll be good to eat. And I promise it is delicious.
So I recorded the portion that we have already done, which is putting the pavlova in the oven and making the filling. Number 2. Those are going to be the layers. I'm going to bring you down here and see.
So this part is pretty simple. We're just taking the filling that we made and had in the refrigerator and putting it over one of our layers. And usually it's the flatter of the two. And then we're gently removing the second layer from the parchment paper, placing it on top. And then I had extra, so I added more of the filling on top and then decorated it with the strawberries that we had set aside.
Finished product. You can see. Let me know in the comments how it went for you, and feel free to message or text me if you have any questions. But yeah, hope you enjoy. Let me know what you think.